Okay, good evening once again. Today we are going to finish with our topic or the lessons on communication. We are going to have the last aspect of it. And so today by the end of the lesson, you should be able to define communication gap. So we are going to talk about what communication gap is. And you should be able to explain or define it. Then you should be able to explain at least 4 problems that communication gap can create in an organization. 4 problems, at least 4 problems that communication gap can create in an organization. Then you should also be able to state and explain at least 4 factors that can influence the choice of a communication medium between organizations. So that is our objective for today. Let's start. Communication gap. Now, when you come to school, the school is supposed to give you information. You are, for example, supposed to know when you'll be going on midterms, when you'll be vacating, when you are going to have A, when you are going to have B, and so forth. The school should give you such information. But you see, when you come, and then you realize that such information that the school is supposed to give you, the school does not give to you. In that case, we said the school has withheld information that's supposed to be given to you. So you don't know when you are going on midterm. You don't know when you are vacating. All these things have been concealed from you. You don't know these things. In organization, when a situation of that nature happens, then we say there is communication gap. That means information that is supposed to flow from management to subordinates. Management does not communicate to or with subordinates. Subordinates do not give feedback or do not also communicate with management. In that situation, we say there is communication gap. Then, another situation where the information that is also sent is not understood, we also describe it as communication gap. So when you say communication gap, that is all that it means. So I have indicated that when information is withheld, just as I described to you, when information is withheld, then there is communication gap. When information that is supposed to be shared is not shared, something that concerns you, you don't hear anything about it. You don't know when you are going to be promoted. Information as to when you are going on leave and a whole lot of other things is not shared. And employees or subordinates do not also give message or information to their superiors. Then we say there is communication gap. And I also said that also when information is not understood, then we also say there is communication gap. So that is all that is meant by communication gap. Now let's look at the problem that communication gap can create in an organization. Very simple, straightforward problem. Information doesn't flow. What is going to be the problem? Simple. The first one, it is through communication that the objective of the organization will be shared. So if information is not flowing, then how is the objective going to be shared? So we said workers will not be aware of the objective of the organization. If you are not aware of objective of the organization, how are you going to work to achieve it? So that is for the first point. The second point is that when there is communication gap, it will lead to poor performance. Why is it going to lead to poor performance? The manager does not. There is no supervision. There is no guidance. The manager doesn't coach the employee. So there will be poor performance. And that will affect the quality of their product. Because the employee is not told what he is supposed to do. Then morale will be low. Why low morale? If you are not consulted, you will not be happy. if management doesn't consult you on things that affect you, you not feel happy. So your morale will be low. Then, for management to, early warnings may not be received. Employees will not give you any warning as to what they intend doing, whether they are going on demonstration or whatever. So you are always taking unawares. So we said warnings are not received by management in trouble areas. They are always taking unawares. So that is for that one. Then control becomes difficult. You know what is meant by control. Now, in control, you set standards, you measure performance, you compare standards with the performance, and you take the necessary corrective measures when there is deviation. And you know that the employees would have to give you information for you to know what is happening, and so that you detect whether they are deviating from course of action or not. So when information is withheld, then control becomes very difficult because you don't receive feedback. Then the next point is that there is lack of coordination. You know the various levels of management on the same level communicate, and then when they communicate, that's when they can coordinate. So if information is not flowing, then there will be lack of coordination. And we know what coordination does in the organization because we have done what coordination is. If the various departments do not coordinate, they will not be able to achieve balance. So that is for that one. Then there will be high labor turnover. There will be high labor turnover. What is high labor turnover? In the first place, what is labor turnover? In your book 3, Human Resource, you learned about what labor turnover is. It's a very simple concept. You know, when you employ people, when you engage people, the services of people in an organization, they don't stay there permanently. They come and they leave by various means. Some will come and they will resign and go. Others will come and they retire and go. Others will come and they'll be fired. So there are several ways employees can be terminated or appointment can be terminated. And here we are looking at where the employee himself decides to resign, to go, to leave the organization. So when you employ people, they come, they don't stay, they go. They come, they stay, they don't stay, they go. Then we say there is high labor turnover. There is a way to calculate it, and we shall do that in your book 3 when you are talking about human resource management. So what we mean here is that they will be leaving the organization. That is what it means. The employees will be leaving the organization. So that is for that one. Why? Because they will not be happy in the organization. Things that concern them, they don't know. So when there is communication gap, it leads to high labor turnover. We are going to end with the factors that may influence the choice of a communication medium between organizations. Now, as what medium are you going to use? What are the things you consider before you decide that you are going to use this medium instead of that medium? What are the factors? The first one, the urgency of the message. If the message to be sent is so urgent, when you say something is urgent, it means that it needs immediate attention. So if you delay, there will be problem. So if the message to be sent is supposed to be received urgently, then it means that telephone may be appropriate. So as a telephone may be appropriate for urgent messages. That one, if you sit down, you write letter, by the time you post the letter goes or whatever, there will be delays. So that is for that one. The urgency of the message will show which of the medium you should use. Then the second one looks at the confidentiality of the message. Confidential message. When you say a particular message is confidential, we have learned about that one. You remember when we were talking about sources of grievance? We said when confidential letters are left unattended, untext, then somebody will go and then pick it. So the concept of confidentiality, you understand it. So we are saying that the confidentiality of the message, if the message is so confidential, that means that it is exclusive to a particular person or group of persons. Third parties are not supposed to know of it. In such a situation, the face-to-face communication may be preferable, may be appropriate. Because if you want to relay such information on telephone, somebody may overhear what you are saying. There was a time I was conversing with somebody and another person was there. Not that the person didn't put it on loudspeaker, but some of the phones have said that a third party who is around will hear whatever you are saying. So if you are there with the person alone, face to face, then you can be assured of that. So that is for that one. Then the safety or the reliability of the medium. The medium that you are using, how safe or how reliable it is to give the desired result that you want. So if that particular medium is safe, if that particular medium is reliable, then it can be used. The next one, you have to also look at the cost involved. You should not remember we have talked about communication should not cost too much. The benefit you are going to have should exceed the cost involved. So if you are going to pick a particular medium is going to cost you so much, then there will not be any need for you to use that one. So you look at that one. So here you will compare telephone with the courier services such as EMS, DHL, and others. And you compare the cost involved, and then you decide which one you are supposed to use. That is for the cost involved. Then legal requirement, law. The law, there are some times the law says this particular one, you have to use the written medium. For example, when you are writing minutes, you are saying minutes must be written. So that one, it can never be oral. So if the law requires a particular medium to be used, there is nothing you can do than to use that one. Otherwise, it cannot be enforced in court. So that is for that one. Then the distance to be covered by the message too is very important. The distance to be covered by the message. Either the distance is far or short. Far distance or long distances, you can use telephones. Then short distances, then you can use intercoms. So you are in the organization within the same building. There are some facilities that you can use to communicate. They are the intercoms. So if the distance is short within the same organization, the intercoms can be used. Then for far distance too, for now, you can even use emails, because the moment you send it, it goes. So for far distance, you look at the distance involved and you decide what you want to use. Then the status of the receiver should also be taken into account. The type of medium you can use to communicate with your friend, you cannot use the same medium to communicate with your teacher or with your headmaster. For example, if it is not like I'm teaching you on WhatsApp and you, a student, you send me WhatsApp message, I will not respond to it. Some of you too even send WhatsApp messages and they start with hi. And you know, I gave you even warning on the WhatsApp group. Somebody was sending me a message and he said, hi, sir. I asked him whether we are classmates. You have to look at the status. Now, I also have colleagues that can hide me. You cannot hide me. but my colleagues can hide me. You see, we have read about communication. That is disrespectful. For you to say hi to your teacher, your headmaster, your boss, and those, no. You greet, good morning, sir, good afternoon, sir. Then whatever message you want to relay, you do that. So you have to look at the status of the receiver, and that will determine the medium that you should use. When you are looking at the status, you are looking at his literacy level. Then you are also looking at the person's position, and that will determine the medium you are supposed to use. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our topic, communication. Today we have talked about the what communication gap is, and then the problems that it brings. So, question 1: what is communication gap? Then the second objective said you should at least be able to state explain at least 4 problems that communication gap can create in an organization. So now the question: explain any 4 problems that communication gap can create in an organization. Then the third objective says you should be able to state and explain at least 4 factors that can influence the choice of a communication medium between organizations. So the question: state and explain any 4 factors that should be considered in choosing a communication medium between organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our topic, communication. All that you need to do as you watch, if you do not understand anything, you can ask any question that you want at the comment column. So we meet again next time to discuss our next topic, that will be decision making. Bye-bye.